Welcome! Today we're going to talk about money, but probably not in the way you're used to. We're going to explore its really deep connection to our purpose, our mindset, and yep, even our faith. So let's dive right in.
Okay, let's kick things off with a pretty challenging idea. What if everything we've been taught about getting rich is, well, backward? This question right here is at the very heart of what we're talking about today. See, this isn't about earning more just for the sake of having more, but earning more so you can multiply your generosity.
All right, so where do we even begin? The very first principle is also the most important one. Money follows value. It's not about chasing dollars and cents. It's about creating something that money is just naturally drawn to. In this slide, this gets right to the point. Think about it. Money is just a symbol. It's like a receipt you get for creating value in the world. So, if you want more of the symbol, more money, you have to increase the substance behind it. That means your skills, your service, your ability to genuinely help other people. Now this, right here, is a total game changer. I want you to mentally take the job title on your ID card, whatever it is, and just erase it. Replace it with these two words: problem solver. And this isn't just a clever trick. It's about completely reframing how you see your role, no matter what you do.
And this is a perfect illustration of the difference. A person with a janitor mindset sees some dirt and cleans it. Job done. But a problem solver who happens to be a janitor, they see the dirt and clean it, sure, but then they notice a lost customer and help them out. And then they figure out a way for the company to save money on cleaning supplies. You see the difference? You go way beyond the job description.
And believe me, this mindset can literally build a career from nothing. The source material shares this incredible story of a father who started out as a filing clerk. His only skill at the beginning? He knew the alphabet. That's it. But because he was constantly on the lookout for problems to solve, he eventually retired as the assistant vice president of a huge food company in the Philippines. That is the incredible power of this shift. But here's the thing. Before you can act differently, you have to think differently. Your entire financial reality is built on the foundation of what you believe about money. So the most crucial step is we've got to do the internal work first.
So you have to ask yourself, are you operating from a place of scarcity or a place of abundance? The scarcity mindset whispers that money is evil, rich people are all bad, and there's just never enough to go around. But the abundance mindset, it sees money as a totally neutral tool, and most importantly, it recognizes that you, yes, you, have the power to create value, and therefore create wealth.
This question is inspired by a really powerful story. A man is watching a woman in a massive grocery store, and she's agonizing over buying a single can of sardines. He wanted to buy her a whole cart full of food, but then he realized her scarcity mindset was the real prison. She couldn't even see the abundance that was all around her. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? Are we doing the exact same thing in our own lives?
And this brings us right back around to our main theme. Shifting to an abundance mindset isn't about trying to hoard wealth for yourself. It's about understanding that real generosity comes from your heart. Money just becomes a powerful tool that lets you amplify that generosity on a much, much bigger scale.
Okay, so we shifted our mindset. Now what? Well, now it's time to connect that new way of thinking to real-world action. And we do that by figuring out the unique talents and gifts that you and only you can bring to the table.
I want you to think back to school for a second. Imagine you got a report card with one A, a couple of B's, and one F. Where does all the attention go? The F, right? We're all taught to fix our weaknesses. But in the real world, that's a recipe for being average. The real question you should be asking is, what's your A? What is that one thing you're uniquely amazing at?
Just think about the results. If you pour all your energy into turning that F in trigonometry into a C, you become, well, mediocre at it. But what if you pour that same energy into your A in communication? You could develop that skill to a world-class level and impact millions of people. It's all about where you put your focus.
So how do you find that A grade? Well, here's a super practical framework you can use. First, ask yourself two things. What do I do that helps the most people? And what makes me feel the most alive? Then go ask people you trust two questions. Where do you see me excelling? And what do I do that helps you the most? The magic happens right at the intersection of those four answers. That's where you'll find your purpose.
Once you have a solid idea of your purpose, it's time to figure out how to monetize it. So let's look at the practical paths you can take to turn all that value you're creating into actual income. You know, we usually see these as two totally separate paths,
You're either an employee with one boss and a set schedule, or you're an entrepreneur who seems totally free, but in reality, if they have 800 customers, they have 800 bosses, and the work never really stops. But here's the modern solution, and it's brilliant. You don't have to choose. The recommendation is to become an employee-entrepreneur hybrid. What does that mean? It means you keep your day job for the security and the steady paycheck, and that frees you up to slowly and carefully build a side business based on your unique genius, without all the crazy pressure of needing it to be profitable on day one.
Now, a lot of people just freeze up at the idea of being an entrepreneur because they think, ugh, I hate selling. But let's redefine that word. Selling isn't about being pushy or a fast talker. Real selling is about sincerely wanting to help someone solve a problem. It's not about cold calling strangers. It's about listening to a friend talk about a problem they have and realizing, hey, my skill or my product is the exact solution they need. It's built on trust and being real, and when people trust you, they will be happy to buy from you. Okay, now for the final, and I mean absolutely critical, piece of the puzzle. You've created value, you've shifted your mindset, you've started earning. But if you just spend everything you earn, you're going to be stuck on a treadmill forever. You have to make your money grow for you.
And this analogy just illustrates the two approaches perfectly. The hunter kills an animal and eats for a day, but tomorrow, they have to go out and hunt all over again. The rancher, on the other hand, doesn't kill the animal, they feed it, they care for it, and they help it multiply. One cow becomes 2, 2 become 4, 4 become 8. This, right here, is the principle of investing.
But does this really work? I mean, really? Well, the source shares this unbelievable story of a mother who got a 2,000 peso retirement payment way back in 1966. Instead of spending it, she acted like a rancher and invested it in the stock market. 40 years later, that 2,000 peso had grown to 3 million peso, enough to cover all of her needs for the rest of her life. Wow.
And so we end up right back where we started. It's not just about money, is it? It's about what you truly value. Because where you put your treasure, your time, your energy, and your money, that's where your heart really is. This isn't just a financial question, it's a life question. So where will you invest yours?